Play Alberta. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Love the title you picked tonight, Zuby, From the Jaws of Defeat. Yes, the Edmonton Oilers looked like it was going to be a tough loss in what was supposed to be a bounce-back game. Connor McDavid throws the team on his shoulders, some clutch performances, some bounce-back performances, a fantastic finish. The Oilers grab a big overtime win that is going to do them well as they head out on a monstrosity of a road trip. Oh, this can be a fun one to break down tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Got Your Back, presented by Timber House Developments. Dream, design, build, service. It's this commitment to process that helps their team create some of the finest custom homes in Edmonton. If you're thinking of a garden suite, infill development, or fully custom home, talk to Timber House. Look at this beautiful work they do. If you can dream it, they can build it. Full team of in-house designers and decades of experience. It is timberhouse.ca. In my stead, you two were fantastic. Wasn't around for Saturday night's show. Zuby, you did a fantastic job sitting in, my friend. Struddy, you hosted. You know, you did your job, Struddy, but Zuby was the one that stepped up big time last show. How did it feel, Zuby, in the big analyst chair?
Oh, it was nice. It was a lot of fun. Don't say Struddy didn't have to do it. Well, Struddy, I'm heavier than you, so it was more for him to shoulder to carry me across the goal line. No, it was lots of fun. It was a different perspective to watch the game a little more closely. I didn't have to think about setting up all this stuff. Steve, of course, did a great job executing. So I got to really pay attention to the game, make some notes, and I thought I hope I brought a couple of interesting thoughts along. I have to say one of the best parts of it was as soon as the show was done and off camera here for the people at home watching, we all said goodnight. I said, what do I do now? Just turn my computer off and go to bed? That was the strangest part of it.
Yeah, no, you text Struds and tell him to be better, like I do 2 out of 3 shows.
Yeah, and then I ignore it because I said I was sleeping.
Oh, yeah, nice job, boys. But happy to have the full crew tonight. We got Brownie ready to rock and roll in a little bit here after he finishes up over on 880 Chat. And boy, do we ever have a lot to talk about. It's tons going on in this game. Before we do, though, Struds, I thought long and hard about whether I was going to bring this up, and then I decided, yes, I'm definitely going to bring this up. I gotta challenge you a little bit here, pal, on the voice message you left on your phone. Like your answering machine message on your cell phone. You took a crack at some humor there, and I don't think it's a strong enough joke to use as your voicemail message, buddy. Like, Zuby, can you call his phone right now? Zuby, Struddy, send us to voicemail here, buddy. Like, maybe this will be our YouTube poll tonight, but for a guy as sharp and funny
got Jason's phone? Sorry I'm not here. I'm out walking through the sands of time. Leave me a message. Thanks.
After leaving a message, you can hang up or press
I'm going to leave him a message here, Zuby.
Oh, sorry. I already. We can try it again in case people didn't hear it.
No, that's okay. I was going to leave you a message and tell you to do better. I don't know. I feel like that's not up to snuff for you.
I think it's interesting. I mean, first off, how many people actually call and leave messages now? Very, very few. But I don't know. So you're one of the few people. I've had it for probably 6 months. There's 2 people, you and another guy, who actually acknowledged it. So it's not really ringing anyone's bells, I guess, or no one's listening to it.
Well, I'm one of the core people in your life who would have something to say about it. Like, how many people listened to it, thought that was stupid, but don't have the relationship with you to be like, you got to do better than that. You're Jason Strudwick.
But I like it. I think it's unique. Zoobs, you're not going to hurt my feelings, Zoobs, either way, because What do you think of it?
Zuby.
Be honest.
I don't. It's not a home run for me, but I don't mind it. I think what. Because it's
like a hit
true.
by
Who's
pitch.
even? Let me just say this part, not to brag a little bit here, but I've never heard it before because Struddy never sends me to voicemail when I call. He always answers.
Oh, hey. Okay, Zuby, listen, we got to do that one more time. And then if you can, Zuby, can you record it on your roadcast so that you have that sound, Zuby? Are you able to do that at the same time?
Yeah, for tonight, like.
Yeah, like can you record it so we have access to that anytime we want it?
Just not today. It won't be tonight, but I could set it up for later.
Oh, okay. I thought you could do it at the same time. All right. Well, give it to us one more time, and then we'll get to the breakdown. And I think this needs to be our YouTube poll tonight. Lots of tough hockey lately.
Hey,
some difficult
you've got Jason's
polls.
phone. Sorry I'm not
go
here. I'm
easy
out walking through the sands of time. Leave me a message. Thanks.
After leaving a message, you can hang up or press pound for more.
I'll have to record it another time. Shogger, I guess, can't hear it coming in, so he talked over it both times. But the joke.
No.
What a surprise.
I heard it coming in. I stopped talking in time.
Oh, you know what? And maybe there's a bit of a delay because for me, it's maybe that's all we got happening here.
Oh, we got a bad delay going, Zuby? Is it ugly?
I don't know if it's ugly, but it might be a second or so.
Okay. Well, let's just power through it. Let's make that our YouTube poll. So Zuby, we don't have to do that right now, Zuby, but you can throw the poll up. I don't know. I think the option should be like, funny. Struds needs to do better.
It's irrelevant because it's voicemail. That could be one choice.
Yeah, that might tank it though. Lots of people might go with that one. I don't know, Struddy. Do you want to defend yourself with any options in the poll? Like brilliant?
I don't feel it at all.
I
wouldn't say it's just my message, right? That's the message I chose to leave. I'm making it my own. I don't like automated messages, and most people when they do it, they sound too businesslike. I'm trying to make mine my own. I think people wouldn't be surprised when they hear it. So, yeah. I'm not, I don't need to defend it when is it great? No, but not everything's a home run. Sometimes it's hit by pitch.
I feel like if you're going to record it for the world to hear, and that's what you're going to say, this is what I believe to be funny enough to put on a message that anybody at any time could call me and get. I just don't know that the standard is there. Let's put it to the people, though, Zuby.
Sure.
Struds, let's get to the breakdown of tonight's hockey game, brought to you by our friends over at the Canadian Brew House. Struddy.
During every Oilers game day at the Canadian Brew House, enter at any Edmonton and area location for your chance to win Oilers home game tickets. Plus, enjoy $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards. Edmonton-born, Canadian-operated, 48 locations across Canada.
Boy, oh boy, was there ever a lot that happened in that hockey game. It felt like it was 2-3 different hockey games, from the mayhem and the mistakes in the first to the slow, sloppy, crazy second, getting booed off the ice. McDavid magic in the third, crazy-ass finish. There was just a lot, Struds, and there's a lot for us to break down tonight. But I think the place that I would like to start is in Connor McDavid and his overall performance tonight. The goals were really something. I thought his start was really something, but, he had strong words he spoke the day after that loss to Colorado about this being an embarrassment for the entire organization and followed it up on this night.
He looked to me like the captain of a team that was going to lead his troops out. And I love that. When you're sitting in that dressing room and you have a 9-1 performance, no one's looking down at Ty Emberson saying, man, this guy's got to dig us out of this one. It's your captain. It's your leaders, the core that have been here. And he did it. I thought he was, we can maybe pause on the second period. No one was really great. But the first and third, he was absolutely flying. He almost scored his first shift. Those 2 goals he scored were unbelievable. You could tell he wanted, he was like, I'm going to lead this team. And that's the job. That's a captain's job. Where the captain of this team, the Flames or the New York Rangers, that's their job. And he nailed it tonight.
Yeah, just very resilient. That had to be frustrating when he scores an all-world goal early in the third period like that. and then a teammate just absolutely chokes one up, and they find themselves in a huge hole again and having to work their way back. Conjures up another fantastic goal on a net drive. Just two all-world plays, Struds, and the spinorama backhand. I love the fact that he fired a backhand. I love the fact he let it rip on the backhand.
That was a great goal. Now he's really quick, obviously, in his turn. His spin was great, and I do believe the D-man wasn't a broken ankle. I think he maybe caught an edge, but Connor moved in a way that the D-man wasn't ready for, and I think that's what made him catch the edge. And then just to turn and fire that thing, I think the goalie was completely surprised. I don't think he expected that shot from there in that moment. And maybe Connor was thinking that, like, I'm just going to unload this thing and see what happens. Puts it far side and goes in. But I just like the intention. And yeah, the move was great. The shot was good. But I love the intention as he's taking this to the net and I'm shooting. And, Brownie has kind of been against the two of us in this one where we're saying he's got to get more pucks in. Let's get shooting the puck, shoot the puck. Well, there he did. It wasn't a high percentage shot, but he took it. And I think he caught everyone off guard. Most importantly, the goaltender.
Yeah, for sure. Let's skip to the end here and go over the finish. So it's a great comeback, and the Oilers find themselves right there, down a goal, and you're feeling like real good chance they're going to work a miracle here. And then Jack Roslovic takes a penalty that, I know Oiler fans won't like the call. I only saw one replay, so I'm not sure if it was a good call or not. Either way, tough time, tough position on the ice to take a penalty like that, Struds. Could not have felt great sitting in the box if you're Jack Roslovic. But maybe just take us through his emotions from the time he takes that penalty and then into overtime after an amazing I won't say amazing, a clutch Stu Skinner save to be the guy that finishes it off against his old team.
Yeah, so Stu Skinner, that's a big save. Like that's what I call it. That's a big save in that moment. The replay I saw, I felt it probably was a call. But again, you put it in the referee's hands when you raise your stick like that and try to get around someone. And that's what he did. He tried to get his hands and gloves stick above, and his stick goes up and hits the defender in the face, and it's a penalty, a coil in the face. So don't leave an option. And those are the kind of penalties that really bug me as a teammate, because there's a way to avoid that. There's no need for that penalty in that moment. You could have kept your hands down, jumped around him a different way. So to me, it's a needless penalty. So now Roslovic's in the box, and he's praying to God that he doesn't get scored on. But he's also praying to God the time goes fast, so there's enough time for him to get out there and try to score again. Because there's a really bad, I think there was maybe, I don't want to say 20, 30 seconds between the penalty and the game clock left over. And then his teammates get out there, Connor Leon, and then ultimately Wallman, who's really buzzing and going, and they all jump up and they get him out of a tough spot, gets him to overtime so he can do what he did. But that whole sequence, that moment by Roslovic, I sure didn't like that penalty. But that would have been a long 2 minutes, but it felt better when Wallman buckled one in there.
Yeah. And look, it was a lucky one. Like McDavid again, right in the middle of it, Struds. McDavid in the middle of it again. It looked like he was kind of directing traffic. I'm not sure if he was waving to Wallman, like, get up here, go, 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 or if he wanted Stu to get to the bench, or I don't know what traffic McDavid was trying to direct there. But he was waving his hand around, and then again in the middle of a big play.
Yeah, and so he understands that you're down. I think the intention was to get Skinner out, but also while that's happening, get another attacker up in there so then get some outman numbers, right? Get things going. And Olivier had a couple tough plays today, like just unlucky, and that was very unlucky that the puck went off his stick as Wallman was trying to move it. But what I loved about this, obviously the goal was great. I loved Wallman's reaction. I loved that he showed emotion. He got down. If you weren't at the game or didn't see it, he got down. His knee was dragging. He was pumping his arms and showing true emotion. It's okay. It's okay that we're happy. It's okay that we're showing emotion. Yeah, I know this isn't, the third game of the Stanley Cup final, but it's okay to show it. And I think this team needs to be okay with that type of reaction when they score a goal. Connor was a bit muted earlier, and I get it because they were down by quite a bit, but that was a big game for the Oilers to bounce back in, and that was a huge goal. And I think Wallman is maybe the guy in that room that likes to have a little fun. Remember, we saw him do that weird TikTok dance. I think I saw Zuby do on his TikTok page earlier, but I like that it's okay. And maybe Wallman has to be the guy that maybe loosens up some of those guys in that room.
Yeah, and he needed this night, Struds, because he has been no good lately. Like, he has really not been good. And so for him to have a night like this, to find a couple of goals like that, to feel the swagger, I just think this is a big night for Jake Wallman, and he needed that performance. Evan Bouchard, first period, takes a penalty after the Oilers were out to a great start, Struds. They really were. They came out with the requisite energy, and they were more physical. They were bobbling pucks around a little bit, but whatever. They brought the right stuff to start that game, and Bouchard brings it all to a screeching halt with a penalty, and they end up down a goal. And Chris Knobloch finally drops the hammer on Evan Bouchard, sits him for the remainder of the first period, almost half of the first period. He sat him down for Struds. He got him back out there. Bouchard played a significant role in the game being turned around. What did you make of Knobloch's call to do that based on a penalty and Bouchard's response?
I didn't like the penalty there. That's clear. I don't think you have to revisit that too much. But pretty strong statement from Knobloch. We've had a lot of discussion on this podcast about when's the right time, what's going on, and I look at it this way: the last game was a disaster, and maybe Chris was looking for an opportunity to make an example of someone in the higher part of this team, right? You're not benching Janmark or Trent Frederick at the bottom. Do someone at the top, just so everyone understands. Like, okay, now we're playing for real here, right? Now we have to make a adjustment and or statement, I should say. And Bouchard sits, and then I thought he got going. The second, I wouldn't put it as great as anyone, but I think that he stabilized, and maybe there was a message that he'll receive that the expectations are higher for you now. Like, it's time to get going and get to be the player that the team needs you so badly to be.
Yeah, it was overdue. I've been very clear in my feelings on that. This is weeks overdue. But he did it, and I'll give him credit for doing it. So that's, Draisaitl last year for bad penalties, rolled over him for 3 or 4 shifts. He benched Darnell Nurse earlier this season for about 7 or 8 minutes, and now this is Evan Bouchard that he sat down. A couple of fairly high-profile players. So, it's overdue, and I do think that Bouchard bounced back nicely. He was good in the third period. Connor McDavid clearly liked the pass. He pointed right at him afterwards, and he was right in the middle of it. So good for him bouncing back. I have to say, Struds, I think Chris Knobloch might have underestimated Evan Bouchard a little bit. I think the only thing that makes sense to me is that Chris Knobloch didn't want to sit Bouchard because he was worried he would go the wrong way, that it would crater him, that he would react poorly and not show the resilience. It's the only thing that makes sense to me why he wouldn't have done it yet. And I think tonight he learned something about Evan Bouchard because he sat him, and it was very clear, and he responded well and he bounced back. I think he maybe underestimated him and overthought that one a little bit.
Let's take a look at why he benched him maybe as well. Taking a bad penalty is something that's fairly easy to clean up in your game. You just don't do it. It's not that hard to figure out.
Yes.
Like, the next time, handle the situation differently. Evan's been guilty of, on many occasions to start this year, misplays, poor pinch, poor read on a rush, turnovers. We don't have to revisit. We know how many. So maybe he felt it was that this was something that you could make a statement without kind of, kicking him in the nuts after he's already made a play that he knows he shouldn't make. So I wonder if it's just not the opportunity there, Schauger, of what it was.
Yeah, I agree. Zuby, I see Brownie is ready to go. I want to get him in for this part of the conversation, buddy.
All right.
So go ahead and and give him a call right now. Here's what I'll do, though. So I'm going to have you multitask a little. Struds, let's get the Weiss Johnson read in, because we're going to roll the sound from Knobloch on Bouchard, followed by a question of mine and then a clip on Connor McDavid. So, Struddy, our sound box is brought to you by Weiss Johnson.
Heat and air conditioning. Should you need a new train furnace, air conditioner, heat pump, hot water tank, or garage heater, Weiss Johnson is now offering 24 months, no interest, equal payments, OAC to make your purchase easier heading into the Christmas season. Their family helping your family for nearly 50 years. Visit wjjingle.com for exclusive specials just for Got Your Back Jingle lovers. Let's hear it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local.
Yeah, let it breathe. It'll give Zuby some time to call Brownie. Let it breathe. Zuby, you can give Brownie a call. People can enjoy the jingle.
With Weiss Johnson, whoa. Striving to bring you a comfortable home. Weiss Johnson, whoa.
That's right, folks. You got the full jingle tonight. Here is Chris Knobloch in the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
I thought he was great after. I thought he played a really strong second and third period. The penalty that he took kind of after the play, not really anything to do with just a retaliatory penalty. There's been a couple of those, and overall, like, I thought he played a pretty strong first 10 minutes. He sat out after his penalty, and it didn't look like he was rattled. I thought he responded well, and he played great in the second and third periods. So good for him, and we need him being one of our better players, because he's a tremendous player. And unfortunately, he did get benched for a little bit, but it didn't bother him. He was able to move on and played a great game.
The two goals are obvious, but what would you say about McDavid's night overall and the role that he played in making sure this one got where it needed to be?
Connor wasn't going to let us lose tonight. He was so focused on getting the job done. And, I've seen Connor rise to the occasion and play some tremendous games. And I'm not going to say this was his best game that I've seen him play, but under the circumstances, it's got to rate up there, just because of he was so determined to get the job done. And, he had an incredible night, 2 fabulous goals, but there was just so much determination to his game that it was like, it's not going to happen again tonight. And he just willed the team to win.
Yes, he certainly did that, as we welcome Robbie Brown into the show. Brownie, I think we'll talk about McDavid. Struds and I talked a lot about Connor McDavid. We'll get your thoughts on him maybe in the next segment, and I'm sure you have some in Brownie Points as well. We were just having the discussion, buddy, about Knobloch's handling of Evan Bouchard tonight, and Struds made the point. He chose to bench him after a bad penalty, which is different than a turnover. Because if you're going to bench him as a result of turnovers, boy, you're going to be benching a lot of those defensemen on a lot of nights. So I think strategically kind of smart, because that's something that can be cleaned up. What did you think, Brownie?
Well, I see what Struds is saying, and it makes sense. But I also think that if he would have made a really big, silly turnover, he would have got benched for that too. I think after the game the other night, the way things have gone for the team, the way that people have called for more accountability, whether it's media, social media, fans, I think they were just waiting for that chance to sit him down. And whether it's because he's done worse things this year than take that penalty. So I see what Struds is saying, but I think that if he would have made the turnover, a big turnover, I think he would have got sat down for that as well.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I guess he's made, quite a number of turnovers. They've never done it before. And then this is a bad penalty, which is, quite honestly, guys, something he's not really known for. So, there's a lot of other crimes that happen, and this is one that he doesn't do often. I don't know. I can go either way, Brownie, but it just seems odd that this was the thing they caught him on, right? It's like catching Al Capone for income tax evasion. Like, he's done a lot worse things, and this is the one they got him on tonight. I don't know.
And that's
it's questionable.
That's why Strudds, I think that it was going to be anything. I think he was waiting for that chance. I think he talked about after the game the other night that he needs to be hold players more accountable. He said he was going to do that. And the easiest one would be Bouchard because he's been the lightning rod. So to me, it was just the first opportunity he had a chance. And this one worked out good. It's early in the game. You'll lose him for 9 minutes. Then you get him for the rest of the hockey game. The game is close. Just everything fell into place to be able to do it. And the message was sent. So, yeah, I mean, you could be right, too. I felt that Bouchard, whatever, he did something wrong tonight, he was going to be held accountable, and he should. All players should be. And I think the message was sent. And you know as well as I do, Strud, if they sit Noah Philp for a dumb penalty, no one notices. But when you sit Evan Bouchard or Wallman or Ekholm or Connor or Leon, the entire bench takes notice.
Yeah, I'll cut it down the middle, and I'll say I agree with you, Brownie, that tonight was the night where Chris was going to draw a line in the sand. I think it's 3 weeks too late, to be honest with you. But I think either way, tonight was going to be the night. I think it's fortunate for them that it was a penalty and not a turnover that did it. Because there are so many guys that are making turnovers and blue liners that are struggling. Wallman's been making tons too lately. I think it's fortunate that Evan handed him one on a platter. It was an obvious one. It was a bad penalty. It was not disciplined. And it was like, okay, that's easier than sitting a guy down for trying to make an offensive play and creating a turnover. So I think Bouchard kind of gifted him one a little bit, and he took it. And, I'll give him credit. That's not easy to do. Evan Bouchard bounced back nicely. Okay, I'm going to run inside here. Before I do, though, let's get to the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll, shall we, my friend?
Yeah, this is going to be a banger tonight. Get fit now before you get out your shovels and ice chippers. Get fitted while you still have your summer swing. The TrackMan bays are ready and their deals are hot. Go down and check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Zuby, let's do it, buddy. What do you got tonight?
Well, hang on, though, Struds. I think we're going to need you to recreate it because Zuby's not going to be able to call your phone again because he's got Brownie on the phone.
Sure. Okay.
So, Brownie, Struddy left a voice. He's got his message on his voicemail. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I don't think it's up to snuff. I think Jason Strudwick should set a pretty high standard for humor, and I don't believe this meets it. Struds, can you recreate it for Brownie?
Yeah, but I don't think... Yeah, I don't think you're getting the point of what I'm trying to do. Anyways, I'm like, hey, it's Jason. I'm not here right now. I'm out walking through the sands of time. Leave a message. And, that's in a nutshell what it is, Brownie, right? And I don't know that I'm really looking to, I think I'm being more philosophical, I guess, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, well
you know what that is,
we are looking.
But what that is, I don't know if you guys, one of my favorite comedians is Steve Martin. And when he is on, he's hilarious. But away from when he's not in the limelight, he's a very intelligent, soft-spoken gentleman. I think that's what Strud. When Strud is on, he is Steve Martin, two wild and crazy guys. Yep.
There is no way you're siding with him in there. I cannot
that
believe
sounds right.
You're complimenting him, siding with him on this one. Zuby, just read
Sounds right to me.
Frickin' poll. Just read the frickin' poll out.
All right. Well, in my assessment of it, I said that it wasn't a home run when I was asked what I thought about it, and people on the stream kind of ran with the baseball references. So that's why we're going to end up with the 4 choices we have tonight. So what are your feelings about Struddy's Sands of Time voicemail message? These are the choices: home run, bloop single and a stolen base, hit by pitch, or 3 whiffs.
Yeah.
And it's very spread. It is a very even poll thus far. I'll tell you that. So certainly mixed feelings on this one.
Yeah. All right. I thought for sure, Brownie, you'd have been on my side on that one. We know how funny this man can be, and that is just nowhere in the vicinity of what the expectation should be. I'm gonna run inside. You guys grab Relentless Player and grab our storylines as well. before we get to takeaways, fellas, and I'll talk to you shortly. That's garbage, Brownie. You need to be better than that too, Brownie. For you to
Wow.
side with that, that's just absolute. I'm going.
A lot of intensity out of Shoggy tonight. Let's get to someone who is relentless, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Need reliable entry-level staff? UCAN trains Edmonton youth with the skills and confidence to show up ready to work and to grow with your team. Learn more and make a change today at ucan.ca. This was maybe the easiest one so far, guys. Connor McDavid, he was on it all game long. He was leading like a captain, Brownie. And I've got him as our relentless player tonight with a couple goals for the big guy.
Well, Knobloch talked about it. He said that McDavid was not going to allow that team to lose. And I know there's a lot of joy in Edmonton today about the Oilers game. But to me, I don't think it was a great game for the Oilers. I think it was an incredible game for Connor McDavid. Like, that third period was on the back of McDavid. It was that simple. McDavid willed his team to a victory. So, yeah, 1,000%, Strud, that he was the relentless player. And I agree. There was no way. When he came out that first shift of the third period, you're like, all right, the Oilers are going to find a way to win this hockey game because of number 90.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. I mean, he had a really good game. I don't think that the rest of the team had a good game. There's some areas that we have to definitely chat about, but it was enough, right? It was enough there. And I think that's what a captain has to do. When things are dark, the captain has to shine the light and show the guys the way.
No, I agree. Absolutely, Strud. Tonight was vintage Connor McDavid. I think Connor McDavid has had a nice start to the season. You know, I don't know what he was coming into the game, 4th in the league in points. You know, he looked good, but not great. Tonight was Connor McDavid. Tonight, Connor McDavid was great. That was playoff Connor McDavid, what you saw tonight in that third period. And the Columbus Blue Jackets had absolutely nothing that they could do to stop him.
Oh, absolutely awesome. Awesome performance by him. Let's get to our storylines now, brought to you by Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, you can score a $50 free bet when you make a minimum $50 deposit with code GYB50. That's code GYB50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you are Alberta's next winner. Zuby, come on in here, buddy, and get us going.
Hi, I'm muted. I'm
Hi
here
there.
now.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Tonight was just, we were thinking that maybe we'd see a bounce back, and gosh, we came close again. We've been very close. We've been all around it. We've hit on a few. The storyline tonight was the Oilers to win in regulation, and we had the over-under of over 6 goals or more. So we hit there, and I'll tell you, when they took that late penalty, I thought, oh, well, too bad. There was still a shot. Then they tied it, and then they got that chance on the rush to score that Bouchard set up the tip play to Draisaitl, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. So it was really, really close, but that's what we were looking at. The bounce, the big thought was the bounce back. I guess we saw a bounce back in the win column. I don't know if we saw a bounce back overall in this game, Struddy.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, I think that, it was better. I think that the save you're talking about was huge by Greaves, and there was an overtime by Skinner that was huge. But Brownie, it was better than they played on Saturday. There's more bounce back though for this group for sure.
There is. McDavid was sensational. Roslovic, wonderful play in overtime. I think there was more raspiness to their game in the first period, and in the third period with block shots, with physicality, the fight, the Colson with his hit. I thought Curtis Lazar, to me, I'd have Curtis Lazar in the lineup. I'd have him on my fourth line because he plays like a fourth liner. He gets involved physically. So I think those things were good, but they were not the better of the two teams tonight. They had the better player. They had Connor McDavid. That was the difference in the hockey game. The Columbus Blue Jackets were the better team, but sometimes when you have the best player on your team, best player in the world, you'll find ways to win. So tonight, again, they were better than they were, but I agree with you. They have a lot more to give. The ceiling is high. This is a team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years. They should not have to struggle with a beat-up, sick Columbus Blue Jacket team near the end of a road trip. So that's why I'm tempering my enthusiasm on the victory, because there's so much more that this team has. Hopefully this is a building block to get there.
You know, in just, if I can make a reference here, in beer league, it happens a lot of the time that you come off the ice and you go, oh my God, they beat us. They have one guy. That team has one guy. And I know the NHL is a lot different, but I felt like when they were showing the Columbus bench, that's what it felt like those guys were thinking after this game.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I
fair
got a
point.
thing too for you guys too. See if you agree with me on this. I felt when Columbus took the penalty, when the Oilers took the penalty in the last 2 minutes, I felt that was going to benefit the Oilers. I just thought it would, because no team has ever practiced a 5-on-4 power play when they're trying not to score. They don't. They had no idea what to do. Their power play did not want to take a shot on net. Eventually it cost them. If they would have been playing 5-on-5, the Oilers pulled their goalie. They practice that. They practice being 6-on-5, shooting for an empty net, where to go in the diamond in front of their own net defensively. But you never, ever practice a 5-on-4, and I felt that the Oilers were going to score a shorthanded goal. Now, I thought it would have been different than the one that they did score, but I just felt that, this is going to work out in the Oilers' favor, because the Columbus Blue Jackets will not have any idea how they're going to close this game out on the power play.
Yeah, it's one thing to play keep away in the offensive zone. It's another to try to play keep away against Connor Leon in your own zone.
Yep.
Like, and I didn't like that. I felt way too casual. And the Oilers got lucky, but when you're playing casual, like at least play keep away in the offensive zone. DDD, get it up, boom, get up, going to the other end. They didn't do that tonight. Okay, guys, let's pause here quickly. We'll get a quick break in, then we'll come back with the whole gang and get into takeaways next on the show. Talk to you in a minute.
Beautiful fences exist. With a wide range of styles and colors from wood grain to white, DLR Vinyl products can make your fencing project pop. Because summers are for chilling and grilling, not sanding and drilling. Go vinyl at dlrvinylproducts.ca. Mainline Water and Sewer specializes in sewer line repair and replacement using advanced trenchless methods for fast, clean results. They provide detailed sewer assessments and scoping to identify problems before they become costly. Serving both residential and commercial properties, no job is too big or too small, and with over 40 years of experience, they've seen it all. Trust Mainline to keep your lines flowing smoothly.
Welcome back to the show. Let's get into takeaways now, brought to you by Chandos Construction. Chandos doesn't just hire talent, they invest in it. They're 100% employee owned. So when their people grow, the whole company grows. Ready to build something that matters? Apply now at chandos.com/apply. 36 minutes. We haven't talked about, I think, the guy who had the hardest job tonight, Trent Frederick. If you didn't see the game, he went after Mathieu Olivier, the guy I feel is the toughest man in the league. Trent's a big guy, but Mathieu is a really, really smart fighter, and he's he's organized. He knows how to fight. And I was watching him like, okay, he's doing all right. And then it got away from me. I don't think Trent had the best grip. Olivier recognized that, and the fight went the way it went. Now, when you fight, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But I'll tell you what, Trent put him, he took that fight, and it's a tough position because I think Mathieu probably knew it was coming to him. And what, he could have maybe done is he could have skipped a couple shifts, then fought him later, just to at least not unsettle Mathieu, but not make it feel like, it's coming right that first shift. But it takes a hugest set of plums to go in. And obviously he was feeling the heat, recently some discussion around his lack of intensity, but he takes a big set of plums to take on that guy at home, knowing you're going in that fight. Your best outcome's the tie, guys. So I got 2 claps on the roof for Trent Frederick today. I was really impressed. Outcome doesn't matter. Just getting in there and dropping the gloves with that guy in that moment was not an easy choice, boys.
You know what, Struds, on that one, and my thoughts on that. So the other night after the game, he was questioned by media about why you haven't been into a fight, and he answered it. So when he left the rink that night, he knew he was fighting tonight. So right away, he would have went into the Columbus Blue Jackets stat line. Who do they got? And he would have known that he was fighting Mathieu Olivier, who I agree is the toughest in the NHL. So for 48 hours, he would have been sitting on the fact that he was fighting the toughest guy in the NHL. And think about it. Now, Trent Frederick's tougher than me. He's bigger than me, stronger than me. But I don't consider him just a fighter. So he would have been sitting there when he's with his family, when he's with his friends, when he's at practice, when he's having lunch, when he's having a coffee, always in the back of the mind knowing the next time he plays, his next shift, he's going to fight the toughest guy in the NFL. In the NHL. I'm thinking in my head, I'd be sick to my stomach for the next, knowing I had to fight this guy. And then you add the fact, if in the game tonight, Mathieu Olivier runs Connor McDavid headfirst in the board, Frederick comes flying in, he's got anger, he has rage, and there's adrenaline, emotion when he goes into the fight. But that's not how it went. He's skating from the bench without any anger, without any rage. He's skating over to tap a guy in the shoulder to fight. So to me, for 48 hours, he's been sitting having to fight, knowing he has to fight this guy. And then when he does it without anger or rage, I give him incredible props to go out there and do what he did. It didn't end in a positive way for him in the fight, but it certainly resonated in that dressing room that he went out and took that fight. He initiated that fight, and I give him full credit for that.
Yeah, pretty gutsy stuff, man. And I will say, I was thinking about it earlier in the day with the way everything has played out in the last couple of days with Trent Frederick. I thought, I wonder if it just feels like the wrong door for him to pick. I respect a ton that he was willing to do it, but certainly not something that, I don't care what questions he was asked in the media. And I wasn't in those scrums the other night. He wasn't asked about why haven't you fought. It was just pointed out, 6 penalty minutes trying to find your game. But he had the comments. You know what? Actually, I've got the comment here. I pulled it earlier today. I'm not sure if you guys probably heard this, but here's Trent Frederick post game the other night as we're back in the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
Fighting stuff comes. I mean, you can only ask so many guys. When you have 1 goal in 15 games, no one's going to fight you. I mean, I'd do the same thing if I was on the other side.
So there he is. I'm not good enough. Guys aren't willing to fight me. I got 1 goal in 15 games. And so really gutsy tonight, Struds, but I don't think he had to do that. I think if he didn't do that, it would have been fine. I wouldn't have criticized him. That's not who Trent Frederick is. He's not in that weight class. He's not supposed to be, tapping those guys in my mind. So I respect the hell out of the fact that he did.
The reality is there aren't many people that are willing to fight. So just go through lineups. And I do often, where are the guys you're supposed to fight? There aren't many. So, he was challenged and, I do believe he was challenged by media to get into a fight. I do feel that way. And they might challenge me and say that's not accurate, but that's how I interpret that questioning. But who is he supposed to fight? Look around, look at the Vancouver Canucks. There's Evander Kane. Yep. Okay. Pretty tough guy. Kiefer Sherwood. That's kind of it. The Flames, I don't think they have anyone.
He turned down the guy in Utah. He turned down the guy in Utah when the score was 2-0.
Yeah, and I said he should have taken that fight.
Yes.
Right? I said he should have taken that fight. That's the guy you want to fight. I don't actually think that guy is very tough. But look around. There's not that many fighters. So, Philadelphia is who's the guy there they have? Is it still Delorier? Is he still there?
Yeah.
Maybe he's still not. But so that guy's a tough guy too, right? So that's a big tough one to take on. But I guess my point is this. He should have had a fight before now. I truly feel that I always thought it was important to get in a fight early so everyone knows you're willing to fight and no one says, oh, well, he's not fighting. You fight as soon as you can. and then it goes on. But taking that fight tonight, to me, guys, bottom line, that was a huge set of balls because, as I said, you're going in there hoping the best thing that happens, boys, is a tie. A tie. Imagine that. You're going to give me 10 grand. I'm going to invest 10 grand for you, and you might get it all back, guys. That's the best outcome. That's what he did tonight when he went and fought that guy.
Yeah. No, it was a pretty gutsy thing for him to do. And yeah, we'll see. I like the fact that he got back in the game and thought he played pretty well after that. Another little tidbit here on Frederick. You noticed he was out on power play 1 with Nugent Hopkins not in the lineup. And I had a brief chat after the game, and I was told that the big guys advocated for Frederick to be on that power play with them ahead of the game. Like they wanted, I think they were hearing and feeling the criticism that he was getting. And I think a couple of the leadership guys advocated for Frederick to get some time with Nugent Hopkins off. So you saw him on that power play a little bit later on, Brownie. A little bit of sugar time there for a guy that paid his due that night or tonight.
Yeah, and good on them for finding it for him. I was a little surprised that he was the guy going on the power play. The guy with 1 goal on the season. I think there's other players that probably could have gone out there and been a little more effective, but
Connor and Leon wanted him.
Is that always a good thing?
In a certain circumstance, I think the spirit of that and where that came from, I think is good, Struds.
The bigger issue. I agree. I think especially after he took that fight, just acknowledge it. Hey, man,
but
thanks.
This was before, though. This was before, though, that they asked for him to be on the power play.
I know. Yeah. No, and I agree, but the coach doesn't have to make that decision. Maybe he agreed to it. We don't know if he said, yes, well, I'll put him on there. But after that fight, I think just to say, hey, that and then Brown, listen, recognizing when someone steps out of their comfort zone and takes that fight, that's a big thing. And I think it would be the other guys like, hey, if you come and just step out of your comfort zone, I'm not saying you're going to PP1, but there is, at least we're going to recognize that fact and say, hey, thank you for taking that battle.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, where are we at here? I gotta keep track of everything here. We're in the middle of takeaways. Anything else you want to get to game related? Or Brownie, you probably got a bunch of game related stuff in Brownie Points, hey? So maybe we should just we'll get to that after the break. You got your Brownie Points ready to go?
I'm all ready to go.
Always ready to go. Okay, quick break. When we come back, Rob Brown will dial in Brownie Points. We'll have Struddy's World as well. This is Got Your Back presented by Timberhouse Developments.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
Riverside Motorsports is your ultimate multi-brand dealer. With a massive lineup of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles, all under one roof. With Alberta's best selection, a huge parts and accessories inventory, and a fully certified service department, Riverside has everything you need to ride. Family owned and serving Edmonton for over 55 years, see what they have to offer in-store just off St. Albert Trail or online at riversidemotorsports.com.
Yes, he is Brownie, and these are Brownie Points. Brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Get 10 years of built-in confidence at your Alberta Ram dealer with Canada's best full-size truck limited powertrain warranty. Every new 2026 Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Check out your Ram dealer today. Brownie?
Well, I'm going to start by taking 5 Brownie Points away from a good friend of mine, ex-Kamloops Blazer teammate, Columbus Blue Jacket coach Dean Everson. The Blue Jackets have a 1-goal lead They're on their power play, and he throws out 21-year-old Denton Matinchuk out on the ice. The young defenseman had struggled all night long against Connor McDavid. If you look at the highlights, you're going to see number 5 in every highlight that McDavid scores on. The entire rink knew that 97 and 29 were coming out onto the ice as soon as the puck was iced while they were shorthanded. Matinchuk had struggled all night long. All Columbus had to do was run out the clock. I was fine. They needed to go 2 defensemen on the ice, but the other defenseman had to be a veteran. They needed Severson. They needed Provorov. They could not put Matinchuk out there, and eventually he's the kid that turned the puck over for the goal that Wallman scored. That was a bad coaching maneuver by Dean Evison. I've got 10 brownie points. The Oilers' Connor McDavid, as he put his team on his back and willed it to victory. 97 played over 10 of the final 22 minutes and was far and away the best player on the ice. He was assertive every time he touched the puck. He drove the net thinking score, not thinking pass. This wasn't a great night for the team, but this was a fantastic night for 97. I've got 24 brownie points to Trent Frederick. He has taken a beating in the media and social media and through the fans over the last few weeks. But tonight he answered the bell when he asked Matthew Olivier to fight. Olivier might be the toughest in the NHL, and Frederick initiated. He didn't win, but he showed up, and that means a lot in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room. I got 2 brownie points. The Oilers netminder, Stuart Skinner, wasn't his best game of the season, and the stat line, it ain't pretty. But Skinner made 2 big saves at 2 big moments, both off of Charlie Coyle. He made a save on a breakaway later in the third period, and then again also on Coyle in overtime. That save on a 2-on-1 eventually led to the breakaway going the other way. Skinner talked the other night about making big saves at big moments when there were breakdowns. He did that twice tonight, so good for Stuart Skinner. And the last one, this is something that we've talked about a lot on our podcast over the while. 2 brownie points. The Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch for holding Evan Bouchard accountable for his first period penalty. There have been too many times that Bouchard probably should have missed a shift or 2, but never did. But tonight, Knobloch sat his top D-man for the final 9 minutes of the first period. He responded well, and he also, Knobloch, sent a message to everyone on the team that you are all being held accountable. So good for Knobloch. Maybe it was a little too late for some people, like Schauger, but at least it was finally done. And those tonight are my brownie points.
Just hang on 1 sec. I really think you need to hear the voice message before you decide if you're taking any away. Like, I just think you need to hear it. So Struds, I'm calling your phone. I just want you to hear this, Brownie, because I feel like you might want to take some away.
Hey, you've got Jason's phone. Sorry I'm not here. I'm out walking through the sands of time. Leave me a message. Thanks.
After leaving a message, you can hang up or press pound for more options.
Struddy, Schauger here.
Hi, Jason.
That's a garbage
It's Brownie.
message, bud. You can do better.
Hey, Brown, it's Brownie here, Strud. You know what? I was having a rough day, but you just soothed me with your voice right there. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I feel better about myself.
Thank you for being
End the
honest.
segment. Segment's over. No more brownie points are allowed to be given out. Goodness sakes. That is a garbage message, says guessing is easy. Relsta says through the sands of time and a whole lot of laughing. Yeah, that is cheese. Oh, was there more support on the stream, Zuby? How's the poll looking, buddy? Is our big guy behind here?
No, he's not behind.
Oh, damn it.
Although it's the polls are, the polar opposites are first and second place in the poll, but
yeah,
the positive one is still leading.
Okay. All right. Well, there's still time, people, to come to your senses. Hold the big guy to a higher standard. Let's get to our core adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you need a safety program, they will build it. If you need it managed once it's built, well, they can do that too. And if you're stuck dealing with those online safety registries that your clients make you sign up for, yes, they can handle that as well. If you own a business, you know what I'm talking about. It is HSE Core Services, www.hsecor.com. Dirt Engineer says, Schauger, voicemail is irrelevant nowadays anyways. Doesn't matter. Your voicemail message is a representation of who you are and what you think is funny. Core adjustments. What did you think tonight, Brownie, of the start that they got? And, what element was there? Like, what adjustment did the Oilers make in the first 10 that was most notable for you? Because they definitely were a lot better.
Oh, there was a directness about their game. There was a physicality. There was a raspiness. All the things that were missing in the first 16 games of the season. They had a purpose. They were going to finish checks. They were going to drive the net. They were going to get in the face of the goaltender. They were going to stand in the blue paint after the whistle had went and dare the opposition to move them. They played there was a little bit of playoff atmosphere in their game to start the hockey game, and they needed that. And it was so obvious what they were doing because it was so lacking the first 16 games of the season. So, you give them credit. They came out and played the way that they were supposed to have been playing, and I thought they did very, very well in the first period with that.
They brought energy. Like they came out with a purpose and brought energy to their game, and I think that's Brownie just said it. We haven't seen that enough. But you know what, guys? I don't want to keep making excuses for them. They've been in the Stanley Cup final twice in a row, and then you're here we are. We're like, you got to get out there and run guys over. Like we just ran guys over 4 months ago in the final. So I think they'll find it. There's in my Struddy's world, there's something that to me is really, I think, important. We have to discuss, but they came out with way more intention in this game to be emotional and be physical and just kind of make the other team react to you rather than reacting to the other team all the time.
They started with the big guys apart, and then they tried putting them together, and that was rough. And then he flipped them apart again, Brownie. Like Knobloch was pulling levers and pushing the buttons, trying to make things work. What did you make of the way he kind of handled the up and down nature of his team's game tonight?
Well, the Oilers were not very good in the second period. Like they really, really struggled. And even if again, I don't think this was a great team win. I think this was on the back of Connor McDavid. The Oilers had the best player. And the best player in this game was good enough to will them to win. You look at the third period, if you rewatch it, Columbus, when there's two games, when Connor's on the ice and when Connor's off the ice. So to me, it didn't matter who played with Connor tonight as the game moved on, they were going to have success. It didn't matter if they split up Connor and Leon. When Connor wasn't out there, whoever was on the ice was not going to have success. So I prefer, if you're going to start a game, finish the game with the same line. Allow them to win or lose the hockey game themselves. Give them an opportunity for someone to be a hero. But as far as this game, I think there were the Oilers played a little bit more desperate at times with blocking shots and physicality, but still it wasn't a good game. It just wasn't. Connor McDavid was great. They got a couple of really good bounces. Both Wallman's goals were fortunate goals to go in, and they got two big saves at the right moment from Stuart Skinner. But if you're looking for positives of this team moving forward, I didn't see it tonight. I really didn't see it with a lot of the players on this team.
All right, those were our core adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. Sand was what Jason skated through for most of his career, says Machine Man. I kind of paraphrased some of that. Solid chirp, Machine Man. Roll it. Struddy's World. Let's go. Roll it.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
It is Struddy's World, and it's brought to you by Batty Realty at Royal LePage, AR Team Realty. Buying a home is a big decision, and the team at Batty Realty guides clients through the complex process with expertise and care, providing unwavering support even after the keys are handed over. Their clients say they make you feel like you're the only client that they have. Visit Batti Realty, BHATTI, realty.com. Struds?
A lot of heat on the goaltenders right now. I understand that. But I think we have to take a look at the D zone coverage of the Edmonton Oilers. And I would say it's quite loose. And what troubles me when I watch them play is that they just allow the offensive players to continue to kind of skate along the wall. And there's no one putting players into the wall and stopping it. Cycle busters is what we used to, refer to them as. The Oilers are a big, strong defense. Look at these guys. They're all big and strong. Very few players are going to outmuscle them on the other team. But take it and stop them. And what happens is we saw, extended shifts in the offensive zone for Columbus where it was up, over, across, back up, down, a corner. Like it just, at some point, someone has to stop and just put someone in the wall and just stop it. So that's an intention. And I know these guys can do it because we've seen them do it. And this to me is the critical area they have to clean up on. Yeah, the off the rush is something that people are dialed in on. But after last night and tonight, the D zone are the area that I am focused on if I'm the head coach. The challenge is it's hard to just show video and say, hey guys, we got to do better at this. So tomorrow's a travel day. Then they have back-to-back games. And I'm guessing a day off on Friday, then a game Saturday. So video is what it's going to have to be. But you have to feel it sometimes. You have to get the guys on their toes, shutting down these cycles or whatever you want to call them, the offensive zone. So you guys may disagree with me, but this is a huge area they have to work on. But unfortunately, it's going to be tough to do it at this time.
That's a good point, Struds. And I think when I played, we would play against Dallas, and you'd get that cycle going in the offensive zone, and all of a sudden Darian Hatcher would just pancake you against the wall and just hold you there. And then while he's doing that, he's looking around thinking, oh, is the puck still here? Is the puck just playing it up for the referee so that you don't get an interference call? But what it does is as you say, it stops the cycle. Because now one guy who's in the cycle is no longer in the cycle. And what we saw tonight with Columbus for long stretches of time, it looked like when Connor and Leon get doing the, up and around along the blue line, drop pass, it was the Columbus Blue Jackets that did that continuously. And nobody was hit. Eventually what happens in those is somebody loses his man, someone loses positioning, and then you drive to the net. But you're right. There was the others either don't have, are unwilling, or are reading it wrong, but they have not had that defenseman stand up and just take someone out of the play. Just smush them against the wall. One less guy. All right, now let's get the next guy to do it too. You're right. There has not been enough of that this year.
How about that one shift, Struddy? Columbus had the cycle rolling, and that Frederick line got hemmed in with Ike Howard. You were thinking the same thing I was, I'm sure, you guys. When Ike Howard grabbed the puck, fired it up the boards, a minute 15, 20 into his shift, and they kept it in, got another 35 or 40 seconds. Ike Howard gets it back and ices it, and now they're stuck out there again. And that was one of those shifts where that tilt-a-whirl was going and that cycle was going. But probably want to make a good play with it, too, when you do get it on your stick.
Oh, poise. You want poise. And the last thing you want to do is, A, throw it away, or B, ice it. Those are the two things you don't want to do. But when all hell's breaking loose, I think you just got to come back to they call it the house. Make that 5 on the dime and just hang. Just hold it. Just hold it down after you get past a minute. Sooner or later, the goalie make a save or go out, whatever. But that's one really good example, Shogger. But you gotta stop those. And I'm quite honestly looking at the D in the center in these situations right now. They should be the leaders in that type of play in their own zone.
All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Batti Realty Group. All right, Brownie, that's it for you, my friend. We will chat with you, I guess, after the game Wednesday night against the Philadelphia Flyers, pal.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what, Struds, I'm going to call you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Don't answer. I just want to hear your message again, buddy. It just makes me feel good. So I'll call you at 10.
I'll put my phone number on YouTube and everyone can call me. Just listen to this. Just calm down.
You know,
Good night,
if
guys.
we don't hand the big guy losses when he deserves them, Struds, the ego's gonna get, or Brownie, the ego's gonna get out of control. Like when there are clear losses, we need to. I know you like to side with Struds because it's funny and ho ho. No one agrees with Ryan ever. Ha ha. We got to keep this guy in check, and that voicemail was a perfect opportunity to check him.
I thought it sounded nice. It's pleasant. That's pleasant, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Brownie. And you're 100% right
welcome.
as usual.
All right, Brownie, get out of here. See you, buddy.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Somebody named Ryan Nugent Hopkins says, Rishaug, I actually used to have a job where Struds was a client, and I had to leave him voicemails. I really wish it was that back then. Would have definitely made my day hearing that. You're better than this, man. You're just better than this.
Well, so you say.
All right. I'm going to let it go. Okay, before we get to our final break, and we're going to have Ask Us Anything, by the way. So whatever questions you have, if you agree with me on this, throw that into Ask Us Anything for sure. But get your questions and comments in. It's always a really lively segment right at the end of the show, and we're looking forward to that. As I'm coming at you, by the way, from our Timber Hoss studio here tonight. Got back pretty quick after the game, bringing your ideas to life. See what you can dream up together, along with the team at Timber Hoss and their biophilic principles. Struds, let's get to a scoreboard, shall we? A few other games going on around the National Hockey League tonight. That'll be brought to you by the Bridge Sports Therapy. They offer a comprehensive approach that extends beyond temporary pain relief and focuses on developing long-term strength and resilience with clinics in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Lethbridge, and opening up in St. Albert soon. Learn more at thebridge.fit.
Relatively light night in the NHL. Only 4 games tonight. There'll be 9 tomorrow. We'll start with the Golden Knights and Panthers. Brad Marchand gets his 11th goal in this one. Reinhardt is 8th for Florida, but it's not it is enough in the end for them to get the win. The Panthers 3-2 over the Golden Knights. The New York Rangers do something they haven't done. I believe this is their first home win of the year over the mighty Predators. What's crazy, they scored 6 goals on 18 shots. Man, that is ugly. 6-3 the Predators lose in New York, but congrats to the Rangers. On that one, then the Islanders, off the back of Matty Barzal's 4th goal, his 4th goal of the year, which is pretty incredible. The Islanders get a 3-2 win over the Devils. Palmieri got another one in there, and Bo Horvat got his 12th of the year to be up with the lead leaguers. Shoggy.
All right, there you have it. And again, Oilers heading into action on Wednesday against the Philadelphia Flyers. They got Columbus on Thursday, and then shift into Carolina, Buffalo, Washington, and Tampa back-to-back, and then the Panthers a couple of days later. Struddy, this is a whopper of a trip.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a tough trip. I hate to look back, but those 3 points they left in Dallas and St. Louis, that would help out a lot because now you got to find a way to get some points out of these games. Philly, all the teams you mentioned, they're not. It's not just the teams; it's the traveling, it's the distance, all that stuff. It adds up and it grinds away. But I guess a silver lining is there's that ton of. I don't know if they have to go back to the East again. They've played so many Eastern teams and a lot of road games early in the season.
Yep. Zuby, you got something?
I was just going to say, going back to that Nashville Rangers game, for the people clamoring for the UC Saros trade, let me tell you, he had a save percentage tonight similar. I think Ernie Clement's batting average in the World Series was better than his save percentage tonight. Not that you can have a stinker, but he had a good start. I know because he's my fantasy goal. He's killing me. I thought it was supposed to be guaranteed shutout night at the on the road in New York, as it has been for so many other goalies, and it's been rough for him lately, so... 583 tonight, UC Saros. 583.
Kayla Weethorn talking about how long the road trip is for the Oilers says that's a long time for Connor to be away from Lenny. Sad face. Gonna be rough. Oh, a Principe type pun. Look at that. RUFF. Gonna be rough. Wow, Kayla. Bringing it. Speaking of pets, man, oh man, we lost our cat Murphy in the last 3 or 4 days here, guys. I felt it coming through the door tonight. Murphy was always there to greet me when I got back from games, just inside the front door with a purr and I'm not a big cat guy. I'm really not. We had an adversarial relationship. He was clearly the alpha male in the house, and that bothered me. But I don't know if you guys have lost family pets. Oh man, we're feeling it, man. He was a beauty, and just that reminded me. Kayla saying that reminded me of that.
That's totally when you miss him too, when you come home to that. Yeah. I had a dog for 16 years, and that was, I think about that now. I think I got something on my Facebook telling me that was 10 years ago. Now I almost fell out of my chair that she was gone. And that's when you miss him for sure, to come home to that, whatever it is, the greeting or the noise or the footsteps. Yeah. Brutal. Sorry, Shugger.
His classic move was coming in from the backyard and bringing a live mouse and dropping it on the kitchen floor and just creating mayhem. Probably did it 4 or 5 times. You guys remember the video of Randine putting the bucket over the mouse on the fire? Yeah. That was Murphy bringing one in and dropping it on. So he was always kept things lively around here. Anyways, tough couple of days. Okay, let's get to a break. When we come back, we're going to take a lap around the league, see what else is going on out there. We'll have Ask Us Anything and our play of the day as well. And we're going to wrap up this poll brought to you by DeBoers. So got some more content coming your way. Stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
I feel about this theme music the way Brownie seems to feel about Struddy's voicemail message. This is a pick-me-up. I need this tonight. Time now to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports, your multi-brand motorsports dealer, serving Edmonton for over 55 years. A big selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-side, snow bikes, e-bikes, snowmobiles. They got an extensive inventory. It's located just off St. Albert Trail, or you can check them out online as well. www.riversidemotorsports.com. Struds, quick look around, man. What else is going on?
Pretty interesting thing that I didn't really know was coming up, but apparently in August, the NHL had opened an office in Zurich, Switzerland, to kind of help them increase their footprint in Europe. You know, the Global Series, and they'll have a presence there with some different grassroots hockey things. It's pretty neat to see, and I that's a pretty significant thing to happen when you consider you do not have any teams in Europe. I'm not sure if other teams have, or other leagues have this type. Like, does NFL have a presence there, or does Major League Baseball? They may have a presence down in South America. So I thought that was a pretty big step, and again, it's been there since August. So you may have known more than I, Shugger, about this, but I thought it was pretty. It really made me kind of raise my eyebrows. Like, wow, that's a pretty bold move.
Yeah, can you imagine the fight around the office? Hey, so we're going to open up a branch in Zurich. Not sure if anyone's interested in applying or anything. Like, how many hands shot straight up into the air? The fight to go over there, Struddy, because that's some nice country over there.
Beautiful city. I lived about 3 hours from there. It was Switzerland's unreal. Actually, I've already sent my resume to Bill Daly directly. Pretty short resume, but I'm like, I'll do it. What do you need done? I'll do it.
Hey, if you could have a job with the NHL, what would it be? Would you want something in like a player safety thing, or like
no, nothing. I think I'd like to help grow the game. I do think that'd be what I'd want to do. I'm not interested in trying to figure out if that's 2 or 3 games, or if I have to fine them $2,500 or $28. Like, that doesn't. interest me at all. But I think growing the game, I do appreciate it. And I love seeing kids play. And yeah, that'd probably be it. But
nice.
I don't think they need me. Okay, next up, the Buffalo Sabres. Pretty scary situation there. Lindy Ruff revealed today that Yuri Kulich, young Czech player drafted just recently, is going to be out for a significant amount of time. We discovered he has blood clots, or a blood clot, I should say. And that's pretty scary. He's like 21 or 22. Just a young guy. He's played, not even 100 games in the NHL. So, he's not a superstar yet, but obviously it's, again, another one that kind of caught me by surprise tonight. It's pretty tough to do that for two things. So I hope it sounds like he's going to be fine. He will probably come back this year, but just again, Shocker, a bit of a shocker to see that.
Well, and that's scary stuff. Like I had a buddy in minor hockey that ended up with some stuff like that. And it was a result of some tough injury, bruising. I'm not going to pretend I know the medical side of it, but I just remember that. And like you have to take that really seriously, and it's scary stuff.
It is really scary, really scary. So we wish him the best, and I'm sure that they have the best care there in Buffalo. And finally, players calling out their teammates. We heard from Sean Couturier, who's been talking about Matvei Michkov and his somewhat struggles this year. So he's got 3 goals, 8 points in 15 games this year. So the captain of the Flyers kind of talked about, and I love this. He's a great goal scorer and has a lot of skill. This is the captain talking. I think you just got to find a way to contribute to helping the team win in other ways when you're struggling. You're not going to be able to score goals every game, so you got to work at it. I've seen improvement in the way he's not cheating as much and being on the right side of the puck. I'm sure it's a little different for him, but if he sticks with playing the right way, I think it's going to go better for him overall. So I think I love that. And I always felt that way. If you're not scoring, how are you helping? And just to bring it back to the Oilers here, if you're not checking and you're not scoring, how are you helping? So you got to find a way to contribute in other ways that maybe aren't historically your way of getting it done. And I think we saw a little bit of that first period tonight from the Oilers.
You get the feeling that a willingness to say that in the media like that, Struds, chances are there's been a conversation behind the scenes, I would think. You wouldn't say that to the media, right? And not the player.
I'd be floored if they hadn't already talked about it. I would be that's not something you just drop in the media, especially a young player you hope becomes a star for your team. Yeah. That's a one-on-one conversation away from the spotlight. And you talk them through it. I'm sure the coaches have had them, but because you don't want to mishandle that conversation.
That's interesting. Hey, talk it and trying to get enough out of this young player. He didn't get a lot out of Podkolzin either. Like Podkolzin left Vancouver and found his game. And I'm not suggesting that Talkett is the problem. I'm just saying sometimes coaches click with different guys and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess it's interesting. Like Rick Talkett clicked with Phil Kessel. I think if you can click with Phil Kessel, you can click with anybody. Although we couldn't get Pedersen going. I don't know. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance here. Sophomore slump for Michkov.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports. Zuby, hop in here before we get to Ask Us Anything, and let's wrap up this poll. I'm going to take another loss on the show.
Sure you want to do this?
No, let's just do it. It's par for the course now.
It was divisive, though. I think you'll see. The question was, what are your feelings about Struddy's Sands of Time voicemail message? Home run did win 37%. That's pretty good. But the next place,
people.
Heyo.
The next one coming in was 3 whiffs. So it was divisive. 24% people thought we're with you, Shogger. No good. Second place. You got second place. If only they handed out some sort of a medal.
Congrats.
Bloop single and stolen base 23% and hit by pitch only 16%. So I think there's a couple of comments here to tack onto this. Hank 809, his feelings. Struddy could read the phone book and make people cry. And then one other one.
Hank, settle down, Hank.
Allison reminding us that Strud's got roasted for his shirt for a month straight, so she feels like he can have this one. Although Struddy blames me for that. He stands by the 100%. Shirt.
Yeah, the shirt is still. I should wear it one night on this.
Yes,
but it'll be 2 of my complaints about being too sexy. I mean, I can't win.
Okay.
I can't win on this show.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, I'll take the loss. I don't know that any host in the history of podcasts that has run his own show has taken this many losses in one, was it like 6 weeks into the season? I'm just getting crushed.
No, I agree. Well, think how I feel. If I wear that shirt, we'll probably be banned as an OnlyFans account. So I got to be careful what I'm wearing here.
Time for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. With the Bank of Canada lowering rates, it's a great time to look at your mortgage. Thing is, your bank only shows you their offer, but Maria, on the other hand, brings you options from a whole lineup of lenders so you get the deal that works best for you. Don't just roll over for the bank. Connect with her today. Mortgages by Maria.ca. I want to just throw something out there before you start. I saw some criticism after the Colorado game online for the leadership group of the Oilers for not coming out and talking after the game.
Yeah.
Want to be very clear to everybody about the way this works. Now, I was not at the game, and I'm not criticizing my fellow media members by saying this. They were not requested. When we request any of the leadership group, they are like 99.9% of the time, they come out. They don't duck the media. So for anybody that was suggesting there was a lack of accountability from the leadership group after that Colorado game for not speaking, the players that were requested were the players that came out and had McDavid, Draisaitl, Nurse, Bouchard, Skinner been requested after that game, they would have all come out. So just wanted to clarify that for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'll play fan. That seems like a miss. Other than Wallman, I didn't see the other, I think people really wanted to hear from those guys. So I don't know. I won't pile on your colleagues either, but.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, so I'll stay out of that part of it. But I just want to clarify for everybody the way that.
Yeah, that's worth
because the players were taking some heat that I thought was a little weird.
Okay. Lots of thoughts about Trent Frederick and the fight tonight. And Neil Garrity said something along the lines of everybody wants him to fight, and then he takes a fight and they're mad at him. But let's go to another comment here from Ro Nelson. She says, like at any time in the last 16 games, Frederick could have driven hard to the net and poked a goalie or made a big hit or started a scrum and play angry for a fight to occur. Naturally, she's really against the staged fight, the challenge fight that's unrelated to an incident. What do you guys think of that feeling coming from a fan, Struddy?
It's a lot easier to fight when you do something that makes someone come after you. Right. So that's what Ro's talking about in those moments. You drive the net, spray the goalie, hit someone you're not supposed to, whatever. And that's an easier fight because you've done it. But I think the Oilers have to get to that point where they are angering the other team. And not to the point of necessarily fighting every time, but you're just making their lives uncomfortable. And that would be the way I'd proceed, trying to get the whole group doing that.
Yeah, I think he kind of backed himself into a little bit of a corner, Struds, because, he's supposed to play that physical style and he didn't early on in the season. Now, I don't think the organization did Trent Frederick any favors at all. They signed him to this long-term deal because of all these intangibles that they feel he has that are hard to find. And then they start him on the top line to start the year. Well, you can't really play that way when you're playing with McDavid and Draisaitl or you're trying to make plays, you're trying to figure things out, you're trying to be a different player in that moment. So right from day one, he wasn't able to just be himself and find that part of his game. So then the year started with being a failure on the top line, which he probably shouldn't have been on. And then he's trying to find his place and find it for, a few weeks. He started throwing hits and being more physical, but the fights didn't come. And when you're a guy that is supposed to play the way he's supposed to play and you're not, the questions are going to come. What's wrong? Why aren't you playing this way? And then he ended up in a situation where he felt he had to go do that tonight. So again, I don't think he had to, but lots of credit for doing it. But I do agree with that comment. I really think he could have been playing the game in a much more menacing way, Struds, night in, night out, and it would have found him.
Yeah, I go back to my earlier statement. I think it's important to fight early when you're a guy that does fight, just so it's off the table. No one's questioning it. Again, I felt I had to fight every exhibition season, and I try to fight within the first 5 to 10 games every year. every year. Now, I'm pretty sure I did it. You'd have to go back. Maybe I missed it, but you got to send the message. You got to just let everyone know, especially your teammates, that I'm willing to do this. And then it's over.
All right, Trizent wants to know thoughts on Stu Skinner saying it's not about save percentage, it's about wins, and then the team wins with a sub 800 save percentage tonight, but got the W. Feels like when I'd fail a test, but the teacher would compliment my handwriting. Very funny, Trizent. What do you guys?
I'll take that one, Zuby.
Okay,
I'll
go
take
ahead.
that one. That was a long interview. I asked Stu 3, 4, 5 questions yesterday. There was accountability in that interview. So that specific answer, he was asked about save percentage specifically. And he was making the point that, like, it's not about personal stats. It's not about, like he was making the point that it's the most important thing is wins and losses and not about his statistics. But he had said, I need to be better on some of those breakaways. I make a save in the shootout in Dallas, and we got a different outcome. I make a save on one of those breakaways, and maybe it's a different outcome. So I'll be the first to pounce if I think there's a lack of accountability through the course of an interview. But if you clip that one thing, that is not representative of what Stu Skinner brought into that entire interview, Struds.
Yeah, no, you were there, and I think that's very clear. I don't feel like Stu is the guy, though, that does shy away from taking accountability when he feels it's warranted. Like I listen to him, we listen to him every post game, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he's hiding from anything. So I think that's a bit unfair. Would I like to see his save percentage go up? Yeah, 100%. I'm sure he would as
He
well.
would too.
I don't think he's not hiding from it, but wasn't that one, there was a clip that was about that too. I think that was more in the playoffs, wasn't it? Where he also said, I'm about wins more than my stats. Was that not a playoff time? I might be wrong, guys, but I feel like it was against Dallas. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm pulling this out of the air, so I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, like Stu is, you ask him about his stats and he rationalizes them. He's trying not to live and die by, save percentage, and team wins. Basically, his message was the most important thing are team wins. My wins, so I guess team wins. And he did say that at one point in the interview. But if you listen to the whole interview, like Stu Skinner stood there and owned his share of what has gone wrong for sure through the course of that whole thing. So if you clip that little part, it I can understand. And when he said it, I sort of thought, oh, people are going to notice that one. But the whole interview, he was quite accountable.
All right, Mellotron on tonight's game said, I thought Matt Savoy had a lot of good moments tonight. What did you guys think of 22's game as he saw some looks on the top line, Struddy?
He's got a lot of speed. He's got good hockey sense. He almost scored that one little quick play to the right. Like it's so close for him to I feel like to kind of get more, but it's tough. Like the team isn't firing on all cylinders. And, when you are a guy who's probably in the bottom half of it and you can't really drive it yourself, you are a little bit kind of at the mercy of the big guys who aren't maybe going 100% just yet. Like let's compare it to Colorado. And I'm not just talking Connor Lee, I'm talking everybody. Like Colorado's, it's hard to find maybe a top end player that isn't going for them. They're top D forwards, all that stuff. And it kind of drags everyone along. And when you're not quite going, it's a little harder to kind of get those breaks, bounces, goals that you're looking for, like we saw from Colorado and their quote unquote kind of bottom 6 players.
Yeah. You just wait for something to break through for him, eh? Just some sort of offensive momentum to get going for him, because he's doing a lot of things right. Someone that knows a lot about hockey said to me the other day, he and Howard are kind of passing the test that they probably can play in the league, but it's about showing that you definitely belong in the league and can make an impact in the league. And they're right at that kind of, and I'm not saying that they're the same, but it's like they've shown they can play in the league, but can they make an impact and find ways? And they're still looking for that, to me, Struds.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Fair for sure.
A few comments here on sort of the same thing. Nick said, as part of the leadership's group not to get the team to buy in emotionally. McDavid certainly doesn't do so based on his actions on the ice. CJ said, I think McDavid played awesome, but it would be nice to see more positive emotion out of him. Look at Wallman. His excitement is inspiring. Riot's Edge said, I think the Oilers need to make winning feel fun, not just routine. And there's some other comments along this line of like, you know, we know the vets know that this is a long haul, but do you think there's any of that could rub off on the young guys of like, oh, this can be fun too along the way. The journey can be fun. We're allowed to have fun, Schauger.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked multiple times about body language this year, 0-0 hockey games, and they're expressing frustration. 2-0 leads, and they're, head in the air after someone misses them with a pass and skating frustrated to the bench. It's been worse this year than in previous years. I think the team's under a lot of pressure. I think McDavid, the whole contract thing, I think was kind of stressful and strange for him. And I think he's just a little disheveled and out of sorts to start the year and not happy with the way the team is playing. And I think he is who he is. And would it be great if he could walk in and be Mr. Positive and make everybody feel great about themselves every day through positive reinforcement? Yeah, he's too competitive for that, man. Things piss him off. He gets angry and he holds people accountable. Jack Roslovic was talking about how the leaders in here, how vocal they are in holding people accountable. So he is who he is, and you got to kind of ride it because there's tons of good in there, Struds, but sometimes they're going to get pissy.
Yeah, and I think it's easier to kind of feel good about yourself when their team's rolling and their game is organized.
Yes.
Like the team's game is not organized. Like, let's just be honest. It's not. And I don't think I just cracked the case there, but when they do get more on track with their game as a whole, I think it's easier to show that emotion, and maybe you kind of loosen the cuffs a little bit and let the guys have some fun. But I did like the response from Wallman on the tying goal, and I did like Roslovic being that excited on the goal. Like, you've got to have joy, otherwise, why are we doing this? Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, buddy. Finish.
No. I was just going to say, it's like, it shouldn't be a complete grind. Like, today wasn't a great game, but you got the win. Acknowledge you need to get better, but there does need to be some joy out there.
Yeah, and I think that's more than fair. Like, they are definitely a fairly tense bunch. I think McDavid will be a different guy if and when he gets his first cup. I think getting over that hurdle for him, Struds, will probably allow him to just relax in his day-to-day life in a little bit more of a meaningful way. But it is a tense group, for sure it is. And I think the guys in that room need to try and do their part to lighten things up, because I just don't know that he's ever going to be that guy. But it's important for those guys to have permission to do that too, those Struds, to feel like it's okay to go in there and be light.
Yeah, but when you see Wallman do it, I think that opens the door for other guys.
Yeah.
Right? That's twice now we've seen Wallman do it.
Yeah, love it. Couple more, Zuby. We'll wrap her up.
A couple quick hitters inside baseball here for Struddy, maybe. Soggy Corpse, wonderful name. Thank you for that. Says, what's the pay schedule like in the NHL? How does that work? I don't really know that either.
Yeah, I think there's something like 13 paydays. It's just every 2 weeks. When I first started, you get a check in your stall and you just go and deposit it, just like that's what it was. Now it's online. It's pretty standard.
Struds, I seem to recall being in Oiler camp as a 16-year-old, and there being a lot of buzz in the room. Or no, not at Oiler camp, sorry, at Blazer camp as a 16-year-old, and there being a lot of buzz in the room because a couple of the drafted vets had got a signing bonus check. Mm-hmm. Do you recall? And I don't know why I thought it was. Do you recall getting signing bonus checks when you were still in junior after you'd signed your deal, and all of a sudden playing junior, guys would be getting like a $50,000 or $60,000 check?
Yeah, no, I did play with guys. I didn't sign so I got drafted after my first year junior. I signed after my second year, then I left. So my signing bonus actually, I didn't get it till after. But what's crazy is when I first joined and I started going to NHL camps, you get paid for playing exhibition games. I want to say it was like $300. And
really?
I remember when my first year I paid, I want to say 3 or 4. I don't remember exactly. But all of a sudden someone hands me a wad of cash at $1,200 American. Like that felt like $1 million. I was so happy. And then I got sent down the minors. I'm like, I got $1,200, man. This is like a lifetime of money. And then I still don't remember when they stopped it, but it was crazy getting paid like $300 or something.
So your first NHL check? Sorry, Zuby.
Checks are now regular season only.
Yeah. Well, that was just for, I don't know why they did that. And you'd have to get someone on that would maybe, was maybe older than I, but yeah, because for a young guy, you played in that game was huge. So you just got cash for those. Then you only got checks for the regular season.
Okay, I have to tell a really quick story because I probably won't ever get the chance to tell this one again. But beer league goalies at times, especially in Vancouver, out at Burnaby 8 rinks, are hard to come by. And when you're a goalie coming off the ice from your game and there's a guy from the team that's going on next standing there, you already know what is going to be asked of you. So one night, and sometimes I did it. Sometimes once I had the wife and into getting into kids, I wouldn't do it that often. But I'm walking off the ice, and before I say a word, I see the guy standing there, and the first thing he says to me goes, "Hey, can you play for us right now? $40 just to play, and another 40 if we win." And I said, "You got it." And we won, and I made $80. I was a professional hockey player for that moment. And then, I wasn't even gonna. I wanted maybe the 40. I wasn't even gonna ask them for the win bonus. And in the room, like, boom, here's a beer and here's your $80. Super. Thanks a lot, fellas. That was great.
I wonder.
Neil Garrity, Struddy, in your career, did you have a partner that you meshed with and played a lot of time with? Was there a Keith to your Seabrook? You're Seabrook in this. No big deal. You're Keith.
Yeah, no. It's funny, actually. I coached against Brent Seabrook this weekend. Our kids are the same age, and I got to talk to him a little bit about it. And I said, but you guys are so good together. And he's headed down to, he went down there, I think, last night to be at this event. They were, I think they were the best pairing of their age, of their generation. They were absolutely incredible how good they were and so consistent. For me, I don't know, like I played well with Ed Jovanovski and Adrian O'Coin. I loved playing with those two guys because they loved to have the puck, and I didn't love it as much. I just wanted to clean up a mess in aisle 7 when there was one, and then pass the puck to them and get the hell out of our zone and wait on the blue line till something else happened.
When I hear Ed Jovanovski, I think Adam Deadmarsh. Remember that scrap, Struds?
Oh, buddy, I was there. It was insane. Oh, yeah, they hated each other.
Cleanest punches you'll ever see. Just boom.
No. Crazy.
All right.
I was there.
Is that it, Zuby?
I was just going to say, before we went on the air tonight and we were a little bit late from the time that I had sort of predicted, I said, I just made a joke. I said, "Can I get anyone a drink?" And Kayla Weathorn, there were some good answers. Kayla came back and said, "Thanks for the offer, but I just made a cup of tea." Rain check. Alex Cognier said he'll have a Glenlivet 14 neat. Hamilton said, "I'll take a tall glass of pink quick." Now that's random. The pink quick chocolate milk. Who else? Mowgli is still waiting for me to bring him a Pepsi Zero. And Drew, I won't say his full name. That's you almost got me, Drew. That's dirty. Drew said a tall glass of WTF just happened, please. That was right after the game ended. So what's your guys' typical, so we got some good ones there. What's your guys' drink? Not necessarily alcoholic. What are you guys drinking during or before the show or just after the show? Shogger, you
little Oban, little scotch.
Classy guy.
That is classic.
Elevated tastes.
Yeah, I like port or tea. I make a tea usually, especially in the wintertime.
There you go.
It's a whiskey sour for me. Sometimes a beer, a dark lager, and the other night I had a spice box. It was a little spice box on ice pressed. I don't know. I needed it. I had that.
After
I had to
your
be
big
loose
analyst
for
debut.
yeah.
After the big, you suddenly
take the edge
elevated. Nice. I love it. The post-show drink. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Maria Gallus Mortgages by Maria. Our play of the day is brought to you by Mainline Water and Sewer, your trusted choice for over 40 years, specializing in sewer line replacement and expert water line repair and replacement. Slow drains are a sign. It's time for attention. Aging lines can cause basement backups. Their trenchless method is quick, low impact, often finished in a day, complete with backflow protection. Visit mainlinewaterandsewer.ca. Once again, I am qualified to go and work for them. I changed all the fittings on the inside of the toilet tank today, fellas. The toilet was making that sound like that sound all day. I identified the problem. I went all the way to the hardware store, figured out where the plumbing aisle was, figured out what I needed, bought it, brought it back, put it in, and my toilet doesn't do it anymore, Struds.
Awesome, buddy. That's impressive. Really impressive. Well done.
I just
They're
can't even believe your
very proud
compliments.
of
I just don't believe them. I just wait
Well-
for whatever's going to come next.
Just don't be so wait for me to pull the rug out from underneath you. If you want me to, I will. But that was a genuine one.
All right. The play of the day, fellas. Zuby, we got to go with the retired able seaman Marty Jones, I would say. What a presence in the rink tonight. And you guys probably saw him on TV, but pretty amazing, this feller, on a nice night where they had a really nice ceremony before the game, Zoobs.
Yeah, that was awesome. I always am very I wasn't able to pull the pictures from the broadcast.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean, I always I'm really touched always by those ceremonies. I went to my kids' thing today at the school across the street, and I'm just like welling up. It's what people sacrificed for us is incredible. It's in fact really we can't. I don't feel like we can even really imagine it. It was the biggest sacrifice. It's incredible.
I love that we recognize it as much as we do. I think you can't do enough. I read a lot of books about the Second World War, and I always imagine myself in their position at that age. My oldest are 14. So to be going away in 3-4 years to do that, it is amazing what they did.
I don't know if you can see that. I'll tilt my light away. But for anybody that wasn't there, didn't see the broadcast, 100 years of age.
Yeah,
so good.
Standing there with a tear in his eye. And then he was in the locker room after the game too, and some of the guys were chatting with him. Chris Knobloch was talking about him as well, so that was pretty cool. And of course, Remembrance Day here. So much love and thanks to those who served. All right, that'll wrap it up, boys. Good show tonight. Struddy, well done, buddy. Zuby, you were solid back in your normal chair. Feel good? Familiar?
Feels right. Yeah, feels good. Right back in the ass groove. Yeah, it's good.
Right,
same chair,
good stuff.
though, technically.
Yeah. Oilers hitting the road. We will drop another Got Your Back Wednesday at noon. That'll be a Struddy's World Wednesday from 12 to 1, a live stream. Then we will have a post-game show that night. Keep your eye out for Ray and Dregs as well. We'll be dropping a couple of those, I think, Tuesday and Thursday this week. So basically, Zuby, get comfortable in those ass grooves because we are ripping out pods every single day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's going to be 6 straight days of content between Struddy's World, Ray and Dregs, and Got Your Back. So
I might just grab a blanket and sleep here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll chat with you in a couple of days. This has been Got Your Back, presented by Timber Haas Developments. Love you, Murphy.